And we're live. Hey, everybody in the Facebook world. Hope you guys are doing awesome, having an awesome Monday. My partner, Daniel Betancourt, and I are here to bring you our Monday top tips and tricks. And today we wanted to cover...
What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be covering how to find inventory, right? So we're in this market. Everyone is complaining that there isn't enough inventory, which there's a lot of truth to that. And so we're going to be covering some ways to get some inventory. I would say first and foremost, everyone should be staying in touch with all of their past customers and reaching out to them and telling them about what's going on in the real estate market right now. That, you know, despite there being a pandemic, buyers are coming from out of state. Buyers who are even in town are just paying top dollar. They're offering, you know, their children to get homes, to secure homes, and the market's just kind of going haywire. And we should be reaching out to them on a regular basis by video to keep just relaying that message and repeating that message, because there are lots of people out there who are on the fence about selling. And you know, if your message is timely, they'll reach out to you for a home value. And you should also have some different home valuation lead generating websites and tools in your website. You probably have a few of those, Todd. I know you do.
We do. We actually just talked about running some other type ads this morning on how to get the home values and selling your house now, and like different ideas. So we can get them on a drip campaign. But yeah, I definitely love the idea of obviously staying in touch with your past clients, because those are our biggest people right now. They're the ones who are going to listen and educate and kind of work with you a little bit easier than some of the sellers who are just hitting the referral companies and or, you know, going for the discount, because everybody's coming out of the woodwork right now to list and or get greedy. I just think it's crazy with some of the market right now, where we were 20,000 over appraisal willing to offer, and we still didn't get the contract. And it wasn't even the cash that got the deal. It was like 40,000 over asking price, almost 15%. So we're talking, trying to, like, how do we connect with more home sellers off market, or just find stuff where you don't have to get into the bidding wars. So everything's got 15 to 20 contracts that makes it difficult. So,
and I would say also, just to touch on that, you know, you and I were together on Friday, and Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. I was showing a home, made an offer on a home that had multiple offers. We were the first one through the door. Listing agent had to be present for all the showings, and we offered $5,000 over list price, and we offered $5,000 towards seller's closing costs from the buyer. We knocked down the appraisal contingency by $5,000, so it didn't have to appraise at full price. It could appraise $5,000 below. And same thing, they chose another finance deal over ours, which I thought it was crazy. But I got a little taste of, you know, what's going on. All of my listings are getting multiple offers, and unfortunately, we can only deliver that good news to one agent. So got slapped in the face with that bad news on Friday. Actually, Saturday morning.
I thought you guys got that deal. That's crazy. We're in the same thing. I mean, Don, you know, he sent a spreadsheet and he said, you know, it's great to have the feeling of all these offers right here, but I got to call 27 people and tell them they didn't get the house. And you know, you run it through the weekend, and you know, I don't want to wait all weekend for it. I don't want to spend my weekend saving offers and updating spreadsheets. But you know, it is what the market is, and it's nice to be on the listing side sometimes, but on the buyer side, it's a little more difficult.
Yes, it's a little challenging. So we're going to cover more strategies for getting your offers accepted on a future episode. But today we want to concentrate on getting more inventory, and you know, part of getting inventory is also just being comfortable with listings. You know, a lot of times, until you've had a lot of experience with listings, a lot of agents are kind of intimidated by getting their first listings, or some agents just feel a lot more comfortable with buyers instead of working with sellers. That's something we hear a lot in our coaching calls out there, and because buyers they're more common to work with. So lots of agents haven't really honed their seller skills yet.
And it is a skill. You know, if you can get the skill down to get your offers accepted, you're going to turn those people into sellers here in the future, because they're going to appreciate what you did for them, getting them into that house. So let's start with some topics here. You know, when I did this class on Thursday, I was trying to hit some key points on how to find offers or how to find properties. And one of them, was the top one was circle prospecting, hitting the neighborhoods, finding the hidden sellers inside your community.
Right.
You can find data through Cole Realty Resources, Remine, RedX, Vulcan 7. There's quite a few different companies that you can pull the data from, but Cole's the most inexpensive that we found, $100 a month for us, and we can download 1,500 names at a time. Obviously, you drop them into a dialer like Vulcan 7 and just keep calling. And the script used to be, do you know anyone who's interested in buying or selling? And now it's, hey, if I can get you the right price for your home, would you be interested in moving?
Right.
So that's number one on the list, is really circle prospecting, to really find the people who are not, not saying I just sold the house up, your neighbor's house up the street, but it's just talking to them directly.
And for anyone who doesn't know what circle prospecting is, you choose an area, you choose a house, and you dial all of the homes within a certain radius or circle around that home. It could be a quarter mile, but that's what we mean by circle prospecting. And a lot of times there, some agents, they feel like they need a reason to do the circle prospecting. So the reasons for circle prospecting can be to inform the neighborhood of a new high sale that recently sold, to inform the neighborhood of an open house that's happening, to inform the neighborhood of a buyer that you're working with that's looking for a home in that neighborhood. So there's a lot of scripts that you can open up with just to get a conversation going and try to shake loose some people that are considering selling.
The other, part of social prospecting is door knocking. Door knocking in the community. If you or someone in your office just sold something in the neighborhood, they call they do what's called a 10-10-20, 10 on each side and 20 across the street. Obviously, I don't know, a month or two from now, we're not going to be door knocking because it's going to be a hot, sweaty mess here in Florida. But if you got the right area where it's comfortable out there in the weather to door knock, it's definitely a good way to get in front of people.
I also wanted to take a second to give it up to all the EXP agents. I listed 4 homes in the last week, and it seems like I got more EXP offers and more EXP showings. I'm pretty new to EXP, so I felt like maybe that has something to do with it. I'm just noticing it more, but I don't think that's the case. In 13 years with Remax, I would notice when an EXP offer agent came through, but it seemed like 50% EXP agents out there hustling over the last week. So kudos to them. Kudos to all the different EXP agents that were calling, asking if they can do open houses at my listings, which, that's what triggered that thought. So if you're able to do an open house for another agent's listings, you can door knock around that open house and just have conversations with homeowners. The more conversations you have with homeowners, the more homeowners that are familiar with you and comfortable with you and that you stay in touch with, that's going to increase over time your listing inventory.
It's going to be a big change there. The other one is call agents who recently sold in the community, see if they have an inventory coming. That's kind of finding the off market, because the biggest marketing you could do is if you are a listing agent, put a sold sign on there. I mean, obviously within 3 days, and people are like, "Oh my God, the Johnson's house sold already." Well, Danny Betancourt is a top listing in his community, so I'm going to call Daniel and ask him, "Hey, do you have anything else coming?" And because I saw your signs up, or I pulled MLS stats, so call them to find out what they've got coming on the market. It might not be right away, but it could be convenient for that seller who has something that they want to get into, or that they want to sell but not deal with the 40 showings and the 40, they would love to have 40 offers, but not be bothered over a whole weekend with people coming through.
Right. And to Todd's point, if you're trying to go above and beyond for your buyers and break loose some unknown about listings, something that we've done in the past is go into MLS and look at the listings that have either been canceled or withdrawn from the market over the last year, even 2 years. If that home hasn't sold within the last year or two and after it was taken off the market, those people might still be considering selling. Maybe something happened, but if they listed a year ago, then canceled and decided to stay in the home, they might sell for the right price. And a year ago, home prices were lower, so they'd be in a better position if they were still interested in doing that. Other
one is search the expired listings or withdrawals back up to 5 years. It's that's your other hidden inventory. People who wanted to sell then, life happened, or wanted to test the market, didn't work, etc. Well, now's a great time to test the market because the market is moving. And so going back 5 years, and if you do that, you need to search in the history to make sure it has not been relisted.
Right.
I've looked at a couple where I was looking for one, and they were either rented or relisted and sold. So as I was trying to target those, I did go back and find the ones that were on there that hadn't been officially relisted, so we can go knock on those doors.
Right. Yeah. And there are also some tools that use modern Big Brother, tech information like Remine. You mentioned Remine as a MLS tool, and they assign certain sellers seller scores. So that's another resource that's free to us through Remine that you can search through.
I'm actually teaching a class on Remine on Thursday. We're going to do a little Remine Pro. So we're going to hopefully have some education coming on that to you guys as well. The other one is, I was talking door knocking, checking with the local property managers. That one's a stretch, but if you have friends that run property management, talk to them about if they know anyone who's got leases coming up and they want to sell the single families that are coming out.
Mailers, mailing to absentee owners, mailing to those renters. You have access through the MLS of everything that's rented over the last couple of years, so you can see who out there is renting. And a lot of those investors, they might desire to liquidate on those properties. They probably have a lot of equity. Some of them are savvy, and maybe the market's been just on this bullish run for so long. A lot of those savvy investors may be ready to liquidate and just capture some of those funds now.
Yeah, get them into a 1031 exchange or something. The other one is the FSBOs and for rent by owners on Zillow. Not everyone's looking on Zillow for stuff. And that's, I think, a great way to find if you're trying to be neighborhood specific, not where I'm saying go out and call FSBOs on a daily basis, but when you get into the neighborhoods, find the FSBOs there and or the for rent by owners to see if they're interested in selling. They don't know I'm sure they all know what the market is, but hey, if I can capture you this much money on your property, would you be interested in selling? They're probably going to get 10% more than the thing was originally there.
Right. And another one is the mailing campaigns. So direct mail campaigns. I was just on earlier today on Prospects Plus, just looking up some things, and they have campaigns for absentee owners and people that have equity. So they have, through their data mining sources, they have ways to determine who has X amount of equity, who makes X amount of money based on that data mining resources. So those are postcards. You can buy campaigns from 4 postcard campaigns, I think, all the way up to 27 postcard campaigns where you're hitting the same person, let's say over a year, 27 times. You can shake some potential sellers that way.
And that's Prospects Plus?
Prospects Plus.
All right, we're going to check that one out because we're getting ready to do a lot of direct mail, so I want to dive into that some more. The other one is
design. So you can choose. They have a 27 campaign mailer system that are all designed postcards, but you can also create your own postcards and upload them.
Okay, we'll definitely check that one out because we're going to do some digital farming, so I want to dive into that more. Or not digital. We want to get into some farming. Now I'm talking about digital farming. So digital farming, some things we talked about was Facebook groups posting, hey, I have a buyer looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath in your local community page, pool home, whatever. And if you are thinking of selling, please message me. I've got a buyer who's interested in looking in that community. Be careful doing that with the groups and the rules and about posting, for needs or wants. But it's a great resource to, 1, it's a listing tool. 2, it's an advertisement to put your name out there. And 3, if you could find a buyer through that direction, perfect. Or scour the post to see if anyone else has done the same thing.
Right. Or, a lot of agents across the country are having luck with writing a personalized letter. I have some buyers that, this is their profile. They love this neighborhood. They've been looking in this neighborhood for over a year. If you or one of your neighbors is planning to sell, please reach out to me, and it'll be a private discussion. Incorporating a system like that is going to be profitable in this crazy, extra low inventory market that we're in.
Well, and if you do the letters and you're mailing to the same community and they see your post on Facebook and other stuff, they're going to take the letter a little bit more seriously. So I would dive in and see what's there. I would dive into those community pages in the area and put stuff in there. But dive into all the groups that are in there, the city pages, the county pages, any sort of other community groups that are around it, and then there's like the county swap groups. Wherever you can post something, I would put it out there. Just the more you can post, the more action you're going to see. I thought about doing an ad for my buyer on Facebook, doing like a 15-mile radius. Hey, thinking of selling, have a buyer looking for this, and have it as a sponsored ad, just to see what we can do there.
Right. Yeah, that's a unique idea, and you might have some good luck with that. I mean, people are doing it with letters, so that's going to exponentially increase the eyeballs on it. My buyer's looking for a home within a 15-mile radius.
Well, I think Facebook rules you got to be 15 miles now. So I'm like, we're trying to, how do we narrow it down more? I can't unfortunately draw a pin on it and do the community anymore.
Right.
And then just daily posting on your page and doing some hashtags for the community, so that it'll help keep it local as well. And then if you do the buyer ad, make it a lead ad so it does drive people back to your website and you can capture their information. And so you can have someone to reach out to versus running a blind ad out there. Right.
I'm not a fan of this idea. I think it'll mucky up the market a little bit, but I know some other agents, and it could be beneficial. Some agents in other states that I've talked to are starting to have their contracts be contingent on the seller finding a home. Which haven't seen any come across my desk that way or my email that way. But, a lot of sellers, one of the reasons why the inventory is lower is because a lot of sellers out there feel like they can't find a home in the amount of time that theirs will probably sell. So because of that hesitancy, they're just staying put. So what I was thinking was a message out there to the public saying, I've got a buyer who is willing to purchase, and they'd be willing to allow you 45, 60 days to find your own home, something like that, to address that concern. That might get somebody's comfort level going as well.
Well, and get them, and we'll all pull our means together to find that seller, that inventory situation. We just had on a listing. We've got, they had 15 offers on it. We took a cash offer. It's 20 grand over asking, no appraisal. And, we've got to find them something now. We had something in mind, and then it was a for sale by owner. Why I don't like dealing with them. They took a week going back and forth. We were going to sign. All of a sudden, hey, we found another property, or we found another buyer who has less contingencies. I'm like, we have a cash offer. We're like the golden child of a contingency because today's the inspection and it's over.
Right.
And now we're back to square one. Got a family of 5 and a dog and 2 cats. We're going to be homeless here soon. Found something else, and luckily the buyers on their house will give them more time. You don't always have that, so this is going to work out, but it does get scary knowing, oh wait, it's the 8th and I got to be out on the 31st. Oh darn, where do I move besides a hotel?
If you have a listing out there, so this is side topic but related. If you have a listing out there, a hot commodity listing that you're gonna make it public, and you expect to get 10 to 20 offers on it, like so many of us are getting. That's a bargaining chip that you can use for your sellers and say, we've got a lot of competitive offers. They're all very similar. If you want yours to stand out, what would really mean a lot to the sellers is if the buyers would be willing to give the sellers X amount of days after closing to move out rent free. And that's a way to identify which of those 20 or 15 or 10 buyers that are very similar in the terms that they're offering, which ones can step it up just one more level.
And we just did an offer this weekend where we were offering people 60 days after closing to stay in the house.
I've got a pending transaction, cash deal, close in 2 weeks, and they're allowing the sellers to stay in the home 30 days after closing.
Never would have come to that, but I mean, it's just another strategy to get your offers accepted, but you still got to find them something. That's a totally different class. And I think that kind of wraps up. You've got the Zillow Furbos and Fizbos. Title company can pull some targeted lists if you want to do some, direct some of the mailing campaigns we've talked about. Get with the title company because they can pull equity, time of length of ownership. Like Remind does the sell scores. There's a lot of ways you can pull like a targeted list of stuff. And we did a couple sales last year trying to find those off-market properties, and they bought one of those lists or one of those homes from the letter.
Zbuyer.com is a company that sells a good amount of seller leads. A lot of those sellers are responding to instant offer ads, so you just have to curtail your response to those leads with an instant offer or a pitch on why they should go to the market rather than mining for cash offers. But one thing we didn't touch on at all was new construction inventory. So a lot of the builders are low on inventory themselves, but not all of them are. So that's just one more place. Before you give up on that buyer, before your buyer gives up, you can look for what's available, what builders have, what lots are available. Transactions, contracts with new construction builders go sideways a lot. So a lot of those homes go under contract and they come back. So network with all of those builder sales reps that you meet and stay in touch with them, and don't forget about them in this time of low inventory.
Yeah, that's a big one, because we're switching a lot of people to new construction right now just because and I hear that there's some are 7 months behind on not on the build, but on opening new lots because of the inventory and other stuff. But get your people on the lists and have them expand their search. It might become a 3 to 5 year house versus a 5 to 10 year house, but at least they get into something and start building equity.
Yeah, if you want to go above and beyond for your buyer as well, network with some home builders. Network with some home builders and start looking for vacant lots. A lot of buyers have resorted to looking for vacant lots to have a home built because they can't find what they're looking for. So you can negotiate with a home builder that if you bring them a buyer, they'll pay you a commission. So talk to some home builders, and if that's an option for your buyer, start searching for vacant lots and connect them with home builders under that understanding that you'll get paid if you bring them a customer.
Yeah, and it's if you want to look at the custom home builders and you're going to look for infill lots and or spot lots, which is really just what's around the neighborhood that hasn't been built on yet, or in the downtown markets, the teardowns, that where you see stuff happening like that.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for.
So just explore the MLS. There's so much available to us, free resources through the MLS that we can find. Just click on all of those different links and resources that the MLS offers. Get to know your homes, hone your home searching skills on the MLS. Look up old canceled transactions, old withdrawn transactions in the neighborhood that you're looking in. And if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, right?
Yeah, it's a matter of time. I've never gone and pulled expired listings 5 years back, and I did to do that for this client. So it's we're playing. I think that's a phone vibrating. Well, I think we got today, guys. So if you guys need anything, please reach out to us. We're happy to share any other tips and tricks. But we'll be back again live on Friday with our show. So have a good week, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Have an amazing week.
Yep.